We head out west for race 2 of 36 in the NASCAR Thunder 2004 custom season, where today we will be at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the running of the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. As you see on the qualifying screen, we have earned our first pole of the year. Starting outside Kenny Wallace with Joe Gibbs' teammates Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte in row 2. We look through practice happy hour times. And for guys like Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., Kevin Harvick, they're very unhappy times. You see the top 3 crawl on the screen. As somewhat decent qualifying run for LePage. Let's go trackside to PRN.
NASCAR Winston Cup Racing has hit the jackpot this week as we come to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for today's UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. What can you tell us about this racetrack?
I think we'll see lots of green flag racing in this one. The track is wide and smooth, and there are multiple grooves to work with here. Sometimes the cars can get very spread out in this one.
The 64 car can count on a couple of the drivers out there to treat him well, especially Ricky Rudd.
Some people think you can gain other drivers' respect by just going out and winning races. But this guy knows you have to do it the old-fashioned way. You go out there, race hard, but clean.
In 2002, it seemed that Harvick suffered through the sophomore slump we always hear about.
With only one win and a 21st finish in the points, it was a down year. But you have to believe that a Richard Childress race team, especially one with Goodrich on the hood, is going to find its championship form sooner or later.
Gentlemen, start your engine. Let's see how they'll line up for the start. In the front row are the Monte Carlo car and the Stagger 2 Dodge. In the second row are the Home Depot Chevrolet and the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Starting the race from row 3 are the Lowe's Chevrolet and the Dodge dealers UAW Dodge. The fourth row has the Sterling Marlin Dodge and the Valvoline Pontiac. Starting the race from row 5 will be the Alltel Dodge and the Singular Wireless Chevrolet. In row 6 we have the Tide Pontiac and the Pfizer Ford. Starting from row 7 will be the UPS Ford and the Team Rusty Dodge. In the 8th row are the U.S. Army Pontiac and the Motorcraft Ford. In the 9th row, we have the Granger Ford and the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. In the 10th row are the Citgo Ford and the 22 car. Starting the race from row 11 are the America Online Chevrolet and the Target Dodge. The 12th row has the O2 car and the BAM Racing Dodge. Kurt Busch, the NASCAR Winston Cup points leader, will begin the race from the middle of the field. The 14th row has the 57 car and the Havoline Dodge. In row 15 are the UAW Delphi Chevrolet and the Kodak Maxville Pontiac. Starting the race from row 16 are the DeWalt Power Tools Ford and the Dodge Dealers UAW Dodge. Row 17 has the American car and the Dale Jr. Chevrolet. Starting in row 18 will be the Kellogg Chevrolet and the DuPont Chevrolet. In row 19 are the M&M's Ford and the Pennzoil Chevrolet. In row 20 are the Georgia Pacific Dodge and the David Green Pontiac. Back in row 21 we have the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet and the Net Zero Pontiac. And rounding out the field is the Civil Air Patrol Chevrolet.
That is your starting lineup for today's UAW Daimler Chrysler 400 from Las Vegas. Dylan Murway and Kenny Wallace will be on the front row for the start of this one. The last week's winner, Kurt Busch, will be starting in the middle of the pack. Who will join him today in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series playoffs when they start at Darlington? Pace car is off. Dylan Murway, Kenny Wallace, lead him down. We're green at Vegas. Wow, Dylan gapped Kenny Wallace by maybe a good 0.3 of a second. Here comes Jimmy Johnson in the second spot. Could he have a runoff 4? Can't get to Dylan to lead the first lap here at Vegas. Johnson looking to the inside for the race leadoff 2. He might have it. Ooh, Dylan got a little swirly going down the back. Gets out of it, and it looks like Dylan is going to drop in behind the 48. Got Bill Elliott there in third. Ryan Newman taking the fourth spot from the 40 of Sterling Marlin. Jimmy Johnson still your early leader here at Vegas. This is the first stretch of the West Coast swing part of the season after Daytona. We will be out at California next week, and then a trip out to the desert for the Checker Auto Parts 500 in race 4 before heading back east for 2 straight intermediate races. The race at Atlanta plus a race at Texas.
31-49. Dig, buddy, dig.
Last week at Daytona was caution free from there to the end. Could make for see if these guys will play any similar strategies today. Dylan Murway, I guess he's trying to maybe save a little bit behind Jimmy Johnson. As Bill Elliott is actually caught up to Jimmy and Dylan, the 48 and the 64. Dylan getting a little sideways in turn 1. Everybody gets out of it. Oh boy. Tony Stewart has made his way to 5th. He has already kicked Sterling Marlin out of the top 5. Same with the 18 of Labonte. As so far been the Dylan Murway, Jimmy Johnson show. Dylan led the first lap. Jimmy Johnson took the lead off of turn 2, and he has led the last 5 up to this point. I think that's 6. And it looks like Dylan Murray got a little squirrely, and he's going to fall down to third, hopefully get the bearings back on what has been a very loose race car.
Save your tires.
Bill Elliott there leading. He's trying to go for the lead on Johnson. A little bit of contact going into one on the back bumper of Elliott. No, nothing major between these two. Dylan Murray trying to maybe save. I guess the good thing about having three cars battling for the lead early on is just look at all the fuel that you save being stuck behind a guy like Bill Elliott, who's been around the circuit a little while. He knows how to keep his car clean. And for the younger guys, it's just best to, I guess, follow his line. Almost. Johnson is still your leader. Bill Elliott can't quite get the run because he's getting wicked push off the corner, even though Dylan Murray is currently borderline shoving him into turn one. And, Dylan's wicked loose in turn one. Didn't quite. Luckily, he saves it. As Jimmy Johnson still is your early leader here in the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. "12 laps complete as the top three have basically formed their own clinic. Trying to stay behind the 9 of Bill Elliott. Elliott trying to look to the outside of Johnson. Dylan's actually pushing Bill to the line. New leader here at Vegas by probably an inch. Johnson gets his even in turn one. Dylan Murray takes him 3 wide. And he's got it. New leader here at Vegas. Johnson still holds even. Nope. Dylan clears him going into turn 3. But Johnson crosses low with the crossover. Can't quite make it. We do have a car on pit road. Unclear who it is. Probably with a blown motor. We'll check on him shortly. But out front is a pretty tight battle between Dylan Murray, Bill Elliott, and the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. As Dylan Murray pulls away from the 48 going into turn 3. You're on board with the Monte Carlo Chevrolet. Dylan taking Jimmy to the top on a block as Johnson crosses low in turn 1. Could he get the spot? Dylan backs out of it wisely. As Dylan will come back, take the lead at the line from Johnson by probably an inch. As they're neck and neck going into turn 1. And Dylan will take it right back. You'll clear him by about half a second, going into 3. almost by a full half a second going into turn one. Luckily, after a bit of shuffling early on, Bill Elliott did barely get the lead at the line, but Dillon went all the way downstairs on both Jimmy Johnson and Bill Elliott, getting to turn one, and Dillon took the lead right from both of them. And we have a new leader here at Vegas. Dylan Murray is starting to gap Jimmy Johnson, this time by 2 seconds. You just see him really start to pull away off of 4. He's got 2.3 seconds to Jimmy Johnson, another extra second to Bill Elliott, with Tony Stewart and Ryan Newman rounding out the top 5. Dylan Murray running pretty close on fuel here. We should see cars coming in next couple laps at least for the opening round of green flag stops. 196 going into turn 1. And Dylan Murray is basically checked out after battling with Bill Elliott and Jimmy Johnson early on. I think he basically just took off and hid. I think Dylan Murray is going to have to pit for fuel and tires here shortly. So, yeah, next time by, bud. Next time by. Pit next time. Pit next time. Right now. Next time. Hopefully other people don't come by and screw us. See right now on the screen, Dylan Murray is at nearly just over 2 miles of gas left. And we see some cars starting to bunch up. None of them are coming down pit road yet. And here comes Dylan Murray getting ready to enter pit lane right now. Getting ready for green flag stops. First pit stop of the day. Looks like there was a car that looked like it might have been Dale Jarrett that blew up. And it looks like a bad mistake on the right rear there for Dylan Murray. And looks like a couple more back markers are coming into pit road now. That could have been a big mistake there for Dylan Murray, as he's already fallen a lap down. See him blending in line next to the one car of Jeff Green. And then here comes some traffic heading to pit road. A lot of cars a lap down early on in this one. You got Craven, Martin, Elliott. He began his set of green flag stops. A lot of cars from that first wave were coming down. And it looks like Craven will be doing the same. Craven's down there. Labonte, saw him on pit road. There's Dylan Murway, is currently 14th right now. The leader, as it sits, is the 29 Kevin Harvick, who is right now the only one of maybe a handful of cars on the lead lap. And then Harvick, Jr., and Rusty are going to pit, which will hand the lead right down to Jimmy Johnson. Well, should, anyway. Dylan Murway gets by the 48 going into turn 1. That will give him the 8th position. And Dylan Murway will take the lead from Jimmy Johnson. As we look through the results on the track right now, the current running order: Dylan Murway, Jimmy Johnson, Bill Elliott, Ryan Newman, and Tony Stewart ran out the top 5. Mark Martin, Dale Jr., Bobby Labonte, Rusty Wallace, and Christian Fittipaldi with a solid day so far. We'll end up 10th. Let's look through the rest of the field. Jeff Green having a solid run today. Same with the 29 of Harvick. Jeff Gordon running in 16th. He was probably one of the first handful that did pit. Having a solid top 15 run after finishing 24th from the 500. Unironically matching his car number. Dylan Murway has opened his lead to 1.3 seconds going into turn 1. We're a little close to halfway in this race on lap 30. We've ran the first portion of this race caution-free up to this point. Very similar to how the Daytona 500 is also playing out. And depending on how the fuel stretches out, we could have one more pit stop if things fall where they may. Dylan Murway seems to grow his lead by a tenth, sometimes 2/10 each lap. Going into 3. As he comes off 4, he's basically running wide open up to this point. Almost 200 miles an hour going into turn 1, and then back down to the brakes. That could possibly be wearing out his tires for later runs, because we've only changed one set, and it was the same situation in the 500. However, the smaller fuel cells added more pit stops, and I think a similar strategy might be playing out here. Dylan Murray is all but checked out on Kevin Harvick, on Jimmy Johnson, who's in second spot. We see a couple lap cars in the back off 4, just getting the line. So far, it's open traffic in front of Dylan Murray, which means next time we race here, 1 week from today, we will be at California Speedway for the Auto Club 500, race 3 of 36, beginning at 3. I don't remember what time I booked that. Beginning at 3 Eastern next week. Dylan Murray is growing that lead to 3 seconds now. And it continues to grow. "30 laps to go, getting to the line." And the race has been very, very dominated by either Jimmy Johnson, Dylan Murray, or the 9 and Bill Elliott. As Dylan Murray is already catching up to the 00 of Jack Sprague. And they're already halfway on fuel, so that could make for an interesting set of stops next maybe couple laps or so. And then we'll see what they have running to the finish. Don't you love these fuel mileage races where there's no action? Anyway, Dylan Murray has put a lap on Mike Skinner in the 4 and Jack Sprague in the 0. And he's already cleared both of them, put them a lap down. The next car up front, I believe, can't really tell because of the sun glare, might be the 46 of Ashton Lewis. Yeah, it's a purple 46 car. He's the next car in line to go 1 lap down if Dylan Murray keeps sending that blistering pace. He's already running a time of 30.65. There's already several more cars on pit road. Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart have made their way into the top 3. Bobby Labonte is 5th. Jimmy Johnson has fallen down to 4th. That's the top 5 as of right now. Looks like some of them may be on pit road. View the backmarker cars heading in, receiving their service. Could see the leader of pitting very shortly in the next 3 or so laps. Dylan Murray puts Sadler a lap down. And it looks like the 45 Kyle Petty up ahead is the next car 1 lap down. That will go 1 lap down if a yellow were to come out now. Now, if that's the case, then the drivers on the lead lap will be on the outside and the lap cars will be on the inside until 10 to go, or whatever track length, depending on race length, that the restart procedures will be like that until, last 10 laps of a race, like on most ovals. If it's 10 to go and a yellow comes out and there's a ton of lap cars, your race is done, basically. Dylan Murray has 5 full seconds on the 12 of Newman. And they're getting a little dicey up ahead between Sadler, Schrader, and Petty. So I guess these guys will probably be good to the finish depending on how things shake out. 20 laps to go here. And Dylan Murway trying to stretch the fuel as far as he can. That's why Sadler, Greg Biffle, and his next target will be the 45 of Kyle Petty. There's 3 cars in front of Dylan, plus 3 more ahead of Green and Fittipaldi as they battle. And Petty takes his teammate and David Green 3 wide, and we'll get them both here in turn 1. That Dylan puts 2 more lap down. Almost like Petty doesn't want to get laps. Dylan Murway flying through this track, basically. Wow, tough break for Kenny Schrader. Started outside pole. He's almost on the verge of getting lapped by Dylan Murway. And that happens to him. Petty will go a lap down, and almost Brett Bodine as well. They're 3 wide at the line. This is a little dangerous for Dylan as he sends it in turn 1. Oh, boy. Brett Bodine fighting back to not lose his lap. And Dylan will take the lead going into turn 3. Wow, both the 11 and Brett Bodine really fighting to keep that lap back. Keep from losing a lap. It looks like it'll be a pointless effort as Dylan Murway pulls away from Petty and Bodine going into turn 1. Looks like Dylan's going to have to pit right now unless he can get lucky and get a caution to come out. He's almost dry. Now we're too short, dude. We're too short. We're too short, dude. We have to pit this time or we're not going to win this race. We're too short. Come on, dude. Let's pit now. Pit now. That's a radio call. Here comes Dylan. Looks like he smoked it a little bit. Watch the car roll down the pit road for the final pit stops of the afternoon. The car that was on pit road was indeed the 57 Kevin LePage. Dylan heads down a pit road. And looks like it might be a long way for Dylan as he falls a lap down. During his final round of green flag pit stops this afternoon. Got a couple more cars heading to pit road. As we speak. There's Tony under the inside of Newman. We give him a nice little bump draft, basically. Push him ahead. Take a position. A little chippy there. And Dylan will try to... He will take the lead from the 20 of Tony Stewart. Depending on how fuel lasts, this could be a weird strategy play here if you're a Tony fan.
Got one out. Stays off another position. Clear all around.
Greg Biffle to pit road for his final stop of the afternoon.
30.74.
That was a great lap, buddy.
Ooh, wow, all right. Kind of a odd way to hit the brakes for Hermie Sadler. He hits him going in turn one. Very curious decision to pit brakes so early. How much damage does Dylan have, though? Doesn't look like a whole lot, but could really hurt the aerodynamics. Cars are heading to pit road, so this means Dylan Murray should reclaim the lead the next couple laps unless there's a yellow. Dylan did get back in the lead lap by basically rooting Tony out of the way to take the lead. Okay, a little bit of a odd decision to hit the brakes there, Brett, as Dylan hits the wall again. 12 to go. Bobby Labonte is your race leader as of right now with 12 to go on this final round of green flag stops. Ten to go. Dylan Murray's got a long way to make that ground in 10 laps. And I think the way pit stops have fallen, that might not be too big of an issue. Jeff Green is your leader. Bobby Labonte is second. Once everything shuffles out, Bobby Labonte should end up as the race leader, depending on how things play. And it looks like Green is on pit lane. No, Bobby Labonte pitted. And that means Jeff Green is the race leader. Wow. 9 to go. Here's Dylan. Looks like he's gonna get by him, get by Sadler without much incident. And this means Jeff Green couldn't make the strategy work, and he will surrender the lead to Dylan Murray just as we get to the start-finish line. 13 full seconds. That's how far back that gap is to Jimmy Johnson. So unless Dylan has a catastrophic problem late, or if a caution were to come out that really hurt him, that could make for basically Dylan Murray's first win of the year in this 2003 campaign. Seven to go. Dylan Murray trying to make up the ground as much as he can. He's there on Nemechek. Gonna put him a lap down. Ryan Newman did take the lead from Dylan Murray, but he's half a straightaway back, and at this point, it honestly doesn't matter what happens at this juncture of the race. As they race out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. And then back down into turn 3. Dillon charging the corner on the one of Jeff Green. At this point, he could probably just ride, to be honest with you, and still pull away from the 48 of Johnson. Or sorry, the 12 of Ryan Newman. And he's added an extra second onto that lead now, with 4 laps to go. As Dillon takes Jeff Green and Steve Park 3 wide. Jeff Green in the 1, Steve Park in the 30. And we get to 3 laps to go, and what has been yet another caution-free affair, as Dylan Murway has nearly 15 seconds on the 12 of Ryan Newman. Back down into 3. And then come off 4, get to the line. There will be 2 laps to go. Honestly, though, what a dominating race from the pole. And when we talked to Dylan Murway heading into the shootout during Media Day, he still stings after that 2002 Championship 4 disaster, to put it lightly. It still stings for him, and he wants to go out and win a ton of races and prove them wrong. And there's no better way for him to do that than put on amazing performances like this. As we have begun the white flag lap here at Vegas, Dylan Murway works his way down the backstretch next to the 42 of Jeff Green, 46 Ashton Lewis, puts both of them a lap down, as Dylan will come out of turn 4, 15 seconds in hand. He will win the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400 at Vegas. And with plenty of fuel to boot, but no motor.
The yellow flag didn't fly at all in this one.
Yeah, and that can be physically exhausting to these drivers. Not only do cautions give them a chance to catch up on the track, but it also gives their minds and bodies a little break. They've all got to be drained after that one.
The Monte Carlo car had a very solid lead coming to the checkered flag.
Not the most exciting finish for the fans, but I'm sure he's quite happy with the win just the same.
The 64 car ran a very respectable race, and I think some of the drivers are taking notice.
Yeah, it's good to see the drivers work together out there, even when they aren't teammates.
Definitely a big win for Dylan Murway, as he won by almost 15 seconds here at Vegas. So, plus 96 for Jimmy Johnson, plus 96 for Bill Elliott, minus 10 for Brett Bodine, and minus 8 for Hermes Sadler. So that's the drivers I made mad or happy in this one. Dylan Murway wins today's UAW Daimler Chrysler 400 at Vegas. Tony Stewart ends up second. Ryan Newman third. Jimmy Johnson fourth. Jeff Gordon, after starting 36th today, will end up at the top 5. Mark Martin finishes 6th. Bobby Lavani 7th. Michael Waltrip 8th. Matt Kenseth 9th. And Bill Elliott 10th. The driver that fell out of the race was Kevin LePage. As we look through the rest of the field, basically anybody from Terry Labonte on up finished on the lead lap. Kevin Harvick with a very solid run, started nearly shotgun, had to use a provisional after wrecking qualifying. Ends up finishing 15th. Earnhardt Jr. with a solid top 15 run today. Matt Kenseth finishing 9th after starting 31st. And Jeff Gordon, using pit strategy after starting 36th, ends up finishing 5th. So, here you see the preview of the next race. We'll go ahead and show off the awards here very shortly. So, Kurt Busch and Dylan Murway have basically earned automatic berths into the NASCAR Winston Cup playoffs at Darlington. So, the awards: Dylan Murway won the pole, led in the Gatorade Frontrunner Award. Jeff Gordon earned the Picking Up Places Award. Terry Labonte had the fastest lap. Dylan Murway was the best rookie. And Jeff Gordon made the best move of the race. Dylan Murway has basically opened up a clinic on Jamie McMurray. Chevrolet is a 3-point lead over Ford in the manufacturer's standings. And the EA Sports Lap Champion Award currently is being held down by Dylan Murway. 13 drivers have taken time out front. Tune in next Saturday at 3 Eastern for the running of the Auto Club 500.